Now, Mbappe this season has been an absolute joke. And I don't know why there's not been many people just talking about this specifically. But what is going on with Mbappe this season? Why? Mbappe currently is playing like a man trying to drag history forwards by himself. A revolutionary in the world. But it's like everything that he does, his squad, Real Madrid, they're just doing the opposite. And that contrast is like the funniest tragedy that I've been witnessing in football right now. I mean, how many seasons have we watched Mbappe and he's put up generational campaigns but still been disrespected online time and time again? Well, right now, it's kind of in that stage where he's still getting disrespected, but it's not because of his play anymore. It's because of his squad. And this happened when he was at PSG. And it's happened how many times? It's like Mbappe just can't catch a break. And I think the idea of me talking about this in more depth came because I watched Real Madrid lose to Benfica the other day. Of course, I do support Benfica when it comes to Portuguese teams, so Benfica, well done. But in the game, obviously Benfica would come out the winners with Jose Mourinho managing, down in the tunnel. But Mbappe would get the only 2 goals that Real Madrid was scoring in the game and arguably would be their best player. He was, doing it all. He was trying his best to lead this team forward. But every single time, the defense of Real Madrid had an opportunity to defend, they failed. And it's like, come on. This guy is a team of the year. Imagine you have a team of the year card in FIFA Ultimate Team back in the day. And then the rest of the side is just bronze. Everyone is bronze. Like, I don't care about no Vinny. Vinny agenda is gone. Rodrigo agenda, you're both getting slandered. You're done. Mbappe has held on to you guys like a backpack. And you guys are inside the backpack. And he's been carrying you forward this entire season. He's probably the reason that Xabi Alonso wasn't, fired as soon as he walked into the building. Because Mbappe kept him relevant. And in that game, Real Madrid's sorries would be even worsened. Because in like the 98th minute, the Benfica goalkeeper, Trubin, would score a header. Like, just ridiculing and humiliating this Real Madrid side. And unfortunately, Mbappe is at the hands of this. He's there too. He has to endure the embarrassment of conceding a header to a goalkeeper against Benfica in the Champions League. And this meant that not only did Benfica qualify, but Real Madrid, I'm pretty sure they have to go through the knockout stage. They have to go, do the playoffs. Bro, that's more games for Mbappe to score in and Real Madrid to lose. And in that playoff that Real Madrid are going to eventually have to play in the Champions League, they're either going to face Bodo Glimt or Benfica again. So just and imagine it happens again. Like, it just makes no sense. And Mbappe is the only good thing that's going for Real Madrid this season. They've got rid of players, but Mbappe, I feel like he's just carrying Real Madrid on his back. This is one of the biggest carry jobs that we are witnessing in football. But it will only be successful if Mbappe wins something with Real Madrid this season. If they get pipped to La Liga by Barcelona again, and if they flop and flunk out of the Champions League again, then what did Mbappe do this for? Why is he putting up generational numbers? There's just no reason for it anymore. Burkinho, please tell me why. I don't even think Burkinho knows. And he's a football analyst and expert that gets taken all over the world. That's why he was missing for the last 7 videos. Now, in the Champions League, in 7 games, Mbappe has 13 goals. And that's 5 more than Harry Kane, who sits in second. Mbappe arguably has been the best player in football this season, yet is still, week in and week out, being looked at as just a failure, a part of this Galacticos Real Madrid squad in the modern era. Bro, we're not taking him serious. But he's putting up serious numbers and he's matching serious work. And then you look at his league form. In 20 games, 21 goals and 4 assists. And I know, a good few of them goals have come from penalties. But when it comes to a penalty, it's still hard to put a penalty in the back of the net. It's a 50-50 chance of scoring. And at the moment, he's putting up these crazy numbers, but also, chasing records. He's chasing Cristiano Ronaldo legacy records right now. Because already, after being at Real Madrid, not for so long, has equaled Cristiano Ronaldo's most goals in a calendar year, being 59. And at 27 years of age, he's, replicating a legacy that Ronaldo left at Real Madrid. And people are still not really talking about it. Like, no one's talking about it. We're just talking about how bad Real Madrid are. And how many times is Asensio going to get a red card? And is he going to get put to the floor? How many times did he slip? Does this guy... Okay, side note, why does Asensio think that he's Sergio Ramos? Someone please tell me who told this guy. Please tell me why he thinks that he's Sergio Ramos. You are not Sergio Ramos, bro. What do you even do? Do you understand that when Sergio Ramos became a hothead, getting red cards, doing all these crazy challenges, he was already an established Spanish defender? You know, he wasn't even a centre-back, bro. He was like a left-back, and he was elite, or a right-back. And then he became this, you know, defender that's no nonsense. I'm just going to grab the collar of your shirt and pull you back and get a red card, take one for the team. You can't be doing that. You're like 22. Asensio. Oh my days. This guy's the worst thing that ever happened to Real Madrid. I don't know how Real Madrid fans can watch this guy week in and week out and think that he's okay in the head. Anyway, it's guys like this, Asensio, that are ruining a legacy that Mbappe is creating. How many... Okay, we should just list all the current Real Madrid players that are holding back Mbappe. I'm going to say everyone. They're just... What are we doing? Because Mbappe, he's showing it on the ball, off the ball. He's hungry. He's hungry for success time and time again. But no, there's no one else backing it. It's like, you know, if you're going to go to war, you're going to war. There's two armies, you know, in the middle of a field. And Mbappe is leading one army. And the other army is coming towards you. Mbappe goes forward and he says, "Army, come with me. We must go into battle." He charges forward and he's run 10 meters ahead. This whole army is coming at him now. He turns around and no one's with him. That's what it's like. That's what watching Real Madrid is like this season. And still, Mbappe, like Madara in Naruto, is taking out entire armies by himself. He don't need help. He does not need help. Please please, Madara. Yeah? I forgot that war in Naruto. But when he takes out that's Mbappe. And I think it's getting to the point where this Real Madrid side's chaos is cancelling out some individual brilliance that we are witnessing. Like, we're not going to remember Mbappe's numbers this season until like 7 seasons into the future. Because nobody really remembers Ronaldo or Cristiano Ronaldo's seasons where he got all these goals and didn't win a thing. No one really remembers these seasons. These are just, alright, are they legacy seasons? Not really. You didn't win nothing. We regard the moments of brilliance as the ones that led you to get a trophy. Like when Cristiano Ronaldo scored 10 goals after, you know, the quarterfinals in the Champions League and then went on a crazy run. Realistically, if you look at his season numbers that year, it wasn't the best. But because he got a trophy at the end of it and he had legacy games and he was actually beating teams thanks to not only him but his entire Real Madrid squad, that's why we regard him as the GOAT or one of the GOATs. But right now, Mbappe, he's in a side, like, it's like in a zoo. Like, just everyone is just having fun. It's like, you know, when you're not a bad kid in school. You're not a bad kid. You're a good kid. But someone else says something in the classroom and they call you out. And then you get put into a room where all the other bad kids are. And you're just thinking, why are you here? You know, I'm going to get my head down, I'm going to do the work, and I'm going to get out of here before everyone else is let out. That's what it's like. It used to be called, I forgot what it used to be called back in the day. It was like unit. Or, I forgot, alert. You would get alerted, and then you would go to a room full of other degenerates. And you weren't even a degenerate. You were just put there for the wrong reasons. That's what's happening to Mbappe every single game. Like at 27 years old, people want a trophy-defining run. So if Mbappe switches up this season and somehow drags Real Madrid to a Champions League, I'm going to be applauding. I'm going to make a generational runs in football videos solely about Mbappe if he can do that. Or if he can switch it up in the La Liga as well. Because in both competitions, there's still ability to go far. But this Real Madrid side under Alvaro Arbeloa need to buck up their ideas. They need to really lock in. They need to do what is needed to be done. And let's just go over a couple of these games where he's just single-handedly carried this Real Madrid side. I think one that comes to mind easily or instantly is Real Madrid versus Olympiacos in the Champions League, where Mbappe scored 4 goals in the game whilst his team were just meddling about. Like, what were they doing? Mbappe scoring brilliant goals and the whole team is just waffling. No one even knows what they're up to. Even against Barcelona on the 26th of October, he was the only one to score. You know, he was trying to get the goals. But his Real Madrid side, they're just not up to standard. Barcelona, rolled them over. There was like a span of 11 games at the start of this season where Mbappe scored in every single game. 1 goal, 2 goal. I think the only game that he didn't score was against Mallorca. But again, just ripping through the league. And in each and every one of these games, despite Mbappe scoring and even winning games for Real Madrid, still, every single time I watched Real Madrid, they just looked deflated. And he's still doing that in the league week in and week out. He scored against Levante the other day, and then he scored twice against Villarreal, who are another side that are trying to compete for the title in Spain. And there are reasons probably why he's not being touted as, the best in football this season. And I think that argument is kind of justified. People are pretty much saying that a lot of the goals that he's farming this season aren't against the biggest clubs. But when you really deep it, he didn't score against Liverpool in the Champions League. He missed the game against Manchester City in the Champions League. But, in games where you're playing such big sides, like Liverpool, who are also having a bad season, but still, they have a squad of players that are more than capable of doing something. And if Real Madrid had a squad of players that are capable of doing something, then the tactics for Liverpool going into a game against Real Madrid wouldn't just be like, mark out Mbappe and we win. Because Liverpool versus Real Madrid early on in the season was like mid going up against mid. It was two sides that are both kind of underperforming, but Real Madrid are doing well in the league, but still, they're not, you watch Real Madrid, they don't look good. It was two sides going up each other and just being like, okay, it was Liverpool versus Mbappe. That's all it was. And I think the real challenge comes in the upcoming games for Mbappe when it comes to the league, but also the Champions League. There's going to be 2 playoff round games just to get into the knockout stages. And once he can overcome them, then you're going to see a run of games that are going to be challenging for this Real Madrid side, and they need to make statements. They can't go out like last year, like they did against Arsenal, and will still be respecting Mbappe for this season. We can't. He'll get ridiculed if they go out like last season. So let me actually go and check I think there was like a tournament bracket that came out that you could predict where Real Madrid or who they're going to play. So let me pull that image up right now. So if Real Madrid get through, they will either play Sporting or Manchester City. And I think we all want to see Real Madrid go up against Manchester City. And we've seen what happened last year where Manchester City played Real Madrid and Mbappe did his thing there. So, there's a lot to hope for, but Mbappe has just been hilarious this season because he's putting up generational numbers. He's doing things that we've never seen before. And still, people are joking on his head. Like, he's just, no one really cares. No one really cares. But you guys tell me what you think Mbappe's legacy is going to be like at the end of this season. What is he going to achieve? What's the standard? Who are some other players that are just laughing stocks right now, like that because of their team, but they're doing extremely well? And of course, this has been me, and Braquinho, and peace.